can talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Matt Millen down in Tampa, you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, ironic that we're coming back to Matt Millen because you and I were just talking about the GSP Matt Serra fight, and I know these guys are going to give me crap. They've heard the story, so they can leave or turn off their mics or whatever. So GSP and Matt Serra were giving me their gloves to auction off for the Ryan Bennett memorial for the Ryan Bennett family, and I go into Matt Serra's. And he's like, yeah, no, that was great. It was awesome, blah, blah, blah. Randy, I just knocked out GSP. I know I told you I'd give you the gloves. I can't give you the gloves. Matt, I understand. I totally get it. How about my shorts? Sure. I mean, I don't care. Cool. He goes into the bathroom, opens the door. He's got the shorts in his hands. He goes, Randy, I just knocked out GSP. I can't give you the shorts. And I go, no, Matt, I get it. It's cool. He goes, how about my underwear?
Oh, no.
I said, yeah, I'll take it. Sold for $900 and some.
You're kidding me.
$900 and some.
Were they full underwears or were they like Speedos? What kind of underwear do you wear underneath?
Stained.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The coolest story that I probably haven't told, maybe I have. I've got dementia too. So I had a whole bag of stuff this after one event, and then I would go home, I'd put it up, I'd auction it off, or if I knew some of the stuff, like I knew I was getting Randy's gloves every time. So a lot of times I would have them the auction had already gone off. So I'm at the Las Vegas airport, and I'm flying to Pittsburgh for the All-Star game. And might have been a UFC bag, I might have had, I don't know, and a lady... We start talking, and I go, oh, are you a UFC fan? And she goes, yeah, I was at the fights. As a matter of fact, I won the winning bid on an item. I don't remember the item. She didn't know who I was, or she didn't know the bag, And I go, really, what did you win? And she told me what it was. And I said, what's your name? And she told me her name, and I had everything written down.
That is amazing.
And so I open up the book, and I look at it, and I go, yes, you did. And she goes, what do you mean, yes, I did? And I unzipped the bag, and I handed her the item that she had. She freaked out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
So don't you feel bad, though?
Not at all.
For lying to Chelsea? Because you said you hate to run, but you never run out of stories. That's a great story. I didn't even know that story. You should tell more stories.
Matt Serra, I don't know if you know the guys, Ally Quinta.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aljo.
He's a great realtor.
Yeah.
Sterling.
What's his name? Jean Vellante, especially. Chris Weidman, Ray Longo. Those guys are my boys. And when we were out in Vegas after some fights, and, man, we would just go party the whole next day. So one day, we're all partying at the MGM. I get on a plane to go home, and I can't find my sunglasses anywhere. I'm like, where? And these were like, really expensive sunglasses. And I turn around, and I'm looking at my bag, and I look, and I hear somebody laughing. And I hear, Straka, what are you looking for? And it's Matt Serra. I go, I'm looking for my sunglasses. And he goes, he points over, and here's Ally Quinta sleeping on the window with my sunglasses on.
That's it.
And Matt goes, take him. I'm like, you can have him for the flight. I want him when he gets off the flight.
I'll send you the liner that Matt Serra did, and it was so funny. He's like, you're listening to Knockout Radio. It's a knockout, like yeah. Matt Serra. So Matt Serra fights Matt Hughes, and, like I've said, I've never shown emotion. I got both of their gloves to auction off for the Ryan Bennett Fund. And I don't remember who won, to be honest, but they both came up to me. It was a close fight. And I'm friends with both.
Yep.
I was with Matt after London, blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't know. They go, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I didn't watch. A, it was too close, and B, I'm not going to yeah, you lost.
Yeah.
And Kenny Florian used to give me a hard time. I don't like to pick fights. And he's like, oh, you're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to this. You're supposed to that. And I said to him, I go, you know what? If I pick a fight and a close friend, Eve Edwards, I would never, ever pick against Eve Edwards, even when he fought Joe Stevenson. And I don't care what anybody says, they're going to take it personal. They may not think they're going to win, but if you don't think they're going to win, they're going to get pissed off.
Yep.
And then Kenny went into the media. He did all the stuff on Fox, and then it was a New York thing, and we got to interview some people, and Kenny was one of them, and he said, I understand now. Yeah, people take it personally.
Yes, they do. And, you never know. people always say to me, "How come you were a little soft?" I'm like, I got to run into that guy in the hotel lobby at 1 a.m. I'm not going to get him angry over me trying to make headlines with a stupid question.
The difference is, and let me interrupt, and I know you know this, and this happened with a former offensive lineman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jorge Diaz, that you can say something negative, but say it professionally.
Right.
You can say you had a bad game, you had a bad outing, you had a bad fight. It sounds a whole lot better than you suck.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to you're in the NFL, you're in the UFC, you're in Bellator. I don't even care if you're at World Class Fight League.
Yeah.
It's more than I've done. To say those kind of, it's how you say it, it's not what you say.
Perfect example. One day I was on Spike TV and my co-host asked me, why does Rashad Evans get booed? And I said, you know what? It's not his fighting. He's a great fighter. I go, it's what he says. I go, Rashad just needs media training. So that's all I said. And by media training, I mean somebody's got to coach these guys. Here's what you can say. Like, Matt needs media training.
Oh, I was going to say it. I was waiting.
You need media training.
Why?
You do.
I can practice right now. I'm like, okay.
No. He's in the middle of talking.
So I'm in Denver, and Ryan Bader's out there, and I'm talking to Ryan, and we're at a bar, and I hear, Strucker, I need media training, and I look over, and it's Rashad. I'm like, Rashad, don't get mad. I'm just saying, like, they asked me why people booed you, and I say sometimes you make jokes that aren't funny. Sometimes you say things that are inappropriate after a fight, and I think you get booed because of that. I said you have a persona, and so fast forward a couple weeks later, and he's fighting Phil Davis, Penn State, and Rashad is on the dais, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to put hands on him like that football coach did at Penn State to those kids," and it was backlash. And 2 weeks after that, after he got backlash, he looked at me and he goes, "Now I get what you mean." He said, "Now I get it."
Yeah.
And I said, I was just giving you a professional opinion, Rashad. And sometimes these guys, they run things by their camps, and if Matt says something to me or if you say something, "Oh, that's great, that's funny." Yeah. But a media guy might go, I wouldn't say that if I were you. And I'm sure that, he ran it by everybody and they all said, "Yeah, that's funny, you should say that." Well, it's never a good idea to talk about kids getting abused. Ever. No,
you're right, and it's you have to take time and think things out. And you're right. The guy sitting next to you needs to learn some of that, as we all do.
Yeah, we all do.
As we all do.
Yeah.
I'm an expert. I'm a professional. Let me practice. I'm like, hey, we're at the offensive line camp, and you guys aren't heroes. Would you like to talk? No, I'm sorry, wrong lineman. Speaking of Al Iaquinta, Raging Al, he's a full-time realtor. I don't know if you knew that, but this storyline in the Olympics, Flavor Flav, another musician who has stepped up and paid for the Olympic athletes' accommodation so that they don't have to worry about paying bills while they're competing in Paris. Are you surprised that there are Olympians competing that have full-time jobs, such as birthday clown?
Not at all surprised.
Birthday party clowns, engineers, the swimmer. Was it Fink? I think he's a electrical engineer. They have to have full-time jobs to be an elite athlete in today's modern world. Is that surprising?
It is surprising, but it's not surprising at the same time. Ronda Rousey famously talks about it. She won a medal at the Olympics and came back. They gave her $5,000 and her medal, and then she was living in her car working at a bar.
Really?
And she looked up and she saw, I think it was Cyborg fighting. She goes, "I can do that."
Well, don't they medals they pay $37,000 is what the gold medal?
She won bronze.
Well, but if you win a gold medal, isn't it $37,000 that they make?
This was 2008.
But I heard the taxes on it are so high, it's almost better not to receive it.
The men's basketball team, they have real jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, a lot of them have real jobs. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, but it brings light to this Italian pole vaulter who, when he went over the bar, his package knocked over the bar. Now he's offered $250,000 to do an adult movie. Yeah. He got sponsored by the Gray Sweatpants Company.
Yep.
So these athletes.
Well, sometimes there's lightning in a bottle, like the Haktua girl. Like, who would have ever thought? She probably wouldn't have thought. She was just making a joke on the street. And that goes to the power of the internet and the power of viral video. The first viral video was the South Park VHS tape, the very first pilot. And everybody would pass this around, and it was huge. It wasn't a viral video because it was before the internet, but it was humongous, and that's how South Park got their deal with Comedy Central. Word of mouth. Everybody was like, "This is the funniest cartoon I've ever seen."
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, Dave Feldman, we'll talk about BKFC Sturgis, and anything to turn the other mic off is what we're looking forward to. We'll be right back.
Dang it.
John Owen, you're listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Got bills? Looking